Well, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it to, I'm lucky enough to be doing it here with all you wonderful human beings. As you may well know, the mission statement of the channel is help the humans, and I've been endeavouring to do that all month by pumping out content at a rate of knots, and apparently some of you like it. And I hope you like this one. This is a Patreon sponsored post. This Patreon lark, if you want to sponsor the channel from as little as $1 a month, jump along, there's a link there, follow it, do your best. I'm actually going to be doing a lot of Patreon stuff, patron stuff, getting them in training rooms, doing reviews, supplementing the video footage from the reviews with the humans that do that. I want to give a little bit back to all the people that keep giving a little bit back to me. So here we go, the Super Pershing. What an interesting bloody tank this is. This is filmed on EU, by the way. That's why the ping is over 300 to 400 all the time. And I found that the Super Pershing can actually survive over there on that kind of rate of ping because, well, basically it's a little bit strong now. It was always the suck monster, but they've done a few things to it which have really improved it. They've buffed the mobility, the ground resistance stats tremendously, and it's copped a few little buffs along the way, and it's made it a tank that now is a reasonably efficient tier 8 Heavyum, and a true Heavyum. It's quite mobile, and it's got the most unique armour profile running around in these premium tanks. And we're going to have a look at that, and I'm going to do something I don't usually do, which is take a good long look at actual armour inspector footage. People find that a bit boring, but it's really important that we look at that because the spaced armour you can see on the turret, those crazy wings coming off either side of the gun mantlet, and there is also another sheet of metal on the front of your upper and lower plate, is really important to how the tank survives and how it works. So let's have a look at that right now. You'll see I'm going to highlight the pink stuff is spaced armour. Now you've got a bit of spaced armour right there, then you've got another bit of spaced armour directly behind it of 114mm, another 57mm, and then you've got your 101mm of primary armour. Now apparently on PC there is actually another section of primary armour behind that 88mm of spaced armour at the very front, but we don't have that on Blitz, and I'm not sure you need it all, to be honest with you. You've also got this spaced armour down the bottom, and that is in front of your upper and lower glacis, which is quite a strong upper and lower glacis, as well as a point right along the very sharp edge that's 139mm of armour thickness. So what spaced armour does is it negates heat, which is the premium ammunition of a lot of tanks. So when you try and fire heat through spaced armour, like the side skirts of an IS-7 or an E100, or the gun mantlet of a Super Pershing, it just dies. And you can see here how strong the mantlet is. We're going to bounce shots out here, and that's why you own this tank. You want to go hull down on it. It's got 10 degrees of gun depression, which is typically American medium, and it can use that quite effectively. It's got a reasonably accurate, it's not very accurate, but it's reasonable enough. It's 0.38 degrees of, 0.38 dispersion weapon, decent rate of fire, 8.33 rounds per minute. It really falls down in the penetration stakes. You've got 170mm of pen on your AP, which is crap. It's terrible. But your APCR has 258, which is much more in line with something like the APCR of the BL9, which I think is about 258, 260 from the IS-3. That's off the top of the head. I haven't driven the IS-3 in a long time, but most of those kind of stats run around that 250s to 260mm range. And that's decent pen for a tier 8 tank. So your APCR is fine, and you're a premium tank with enough earning potential to actually fire APCR and not come out hugely on the negative side of the credit ledger. You'd rather not, obviously, because you like to make money, but the tank's a lot of fun for all that, and it bounces a lot of shots. It's actually, if you angle this tank, you get that upper and lower plate at a nice angle, you can bounce some shots. I mean, not all of them. It's not the kind of T29 armor profile you're talking about where you hull down and you don't have to move. You're talking about a tank that is a medium tank at heart, and although it's got some big heavy tank armor on the front and it doesn't quite have all the medium mobility you'd like, it's a lot of fun. Penetration values aside, I'm playing this on 300 plus ping, and it was super competitive for me. It's got 36 degrees of traverse on its tracks, which is really nippy for a tank of this size. And it also has 20 degrees of traversal on its turret, which, while not outstanding or that exciting, is enough that you can get around and play it like a Heavyum. You can get to the occasional flank. You can get shots off, and you can set shots up pretty successfully. Now, this is the first game I had on EU driving this tank, and I got to say, EU was at times welcoming, at other times very negative. A lot of fierce and angry human beings on EU who thought that I was a fake Bushka. Who was, I suppose I should be proud of you all. There was people over there abusing me for being a fake Bushka and for ruining the game and bringing whatever into disrepute. I thought it was quite funny. I couldn't help myself. There's a T95 today, actually, when I was driving, was getting right up me because I couldn't pen him. I'm in this thing with maximum of 258mm of pen, and I was perma-tracking him using HE, and he's going, "You're not the real Bushka. Real Bushka wouldn't fire HE at a T95." I'm like, whatever, dude. Love your work. You can see how much red there is there. It's a really tough pen at times. It's a lot like driving any tier 8 heavy that doesn't have the top gun, that's got a bit of a stock gun. You've got the armour, you've bought the turret, but you don't have the good gun. Only this time, you've got such a nice earning coefficient that you can fire premium ammunition and not die. And you can see how many bounces we've got from this little engagement here. That poor old T44, who isn't renowned for having the best of penetration values, and this private 99 ISU has been up our T44 the whole time. There you go. We've got to get rid of that T44 now. You can see it works really, really well hull down. And we donked that one and nearly died of the T44 on the right. But it's all right. Everyone comes up trumps. We're bouncing shots like a boss. You see what I mean? It's even in high ping situations like this where everything is a little bit, you can see his gun looks like it's looking the other way. This is what happens when you're playing at 300 plus ping constantly. It's a really fun tank, and it's really strong. It's a lot stronger than I gave it credit for. I don't own it on Asia, and I was very, very tempted to buy it after playing it again on EU. It's different. The T34 used to be the go-to premium tank at Tier 8, and that lost its place to the IS-6, and now everyone loves driving the IS-3 Defender if you got it during that IS-3 Defender marathon. You can see there it's telling me, because it's the first time I've turned up, tap the button to extend your premium time. Good going. So that was the first game. And this is actually, I think this is the last game I played. Yeah, this is. I played about 20 or 30 odd games over there. I really, really enjoyed this tank. And you can see these guys, I'm struggling a bit here. The pings, but look at that. That's a Panther 2's Upper Glacis. And we are unable to pen a Panther 2's Upper Glacis. That is some bad penetration values. However, we do have a tank that can bounce stuff. Unfortunately, we've got to use auto aim at all times because the ping is so bad. And it actually does work pretty well. You can see this Panther 2's got a good enough gun that he can actually put shots into the very top of the turret. That's the weak point. You want to be firing just above the gun mantlet. And we've switched to APCR here. It's just devastating. The difference between your APCR and your AP is 78mm of penetration. That's amazing. Considering that you've only got 170mm of pen on your AP, just off the top of my head, that's like a 40% increase in penetration value. You can't live with AP if you're going to do any kind of damage in this game using this tank. I mean, you'll certainly be able to do it, and you'll do it a lot better if you're running at 120 or sub 100 ping, but it's not an easy thing to do when you're running at 320 to 350 ping. And I've had just about enough of that in this tank. You can see though, that's a lot of bounces in a tier 8 match, fighting a couple of tier 8 mediums. We're bouncing an awful lot of shots. We're just putting one in across there as we go through. We want to get up here and perma spot this, because otherwise these ISU 152s that I'm with are going to get eaten alive. The SU 152 and the ISU 152 I'm with. And you've got to be very careful with this tank because it can side scrape, but when you're running at a high ping rate like this, the little fine movement stuff becomes very tough to do. And you can see we've blown adrenaline. We're running around here. We're going to back up right to this IS, changed out of APCR into AP, and we're going to bounce it. I don't know where the hell that went. Anyway, ricocheted off the back of his turret. Did I mention that this has some rough spots in the penetration phase? Jesus. So things look pretty good. Things are going to get worse, trust me. I was a bit arsey over here on EU. People, I got so much stick from driving this tank and people saying that I was a noob, gold spammer, all that kind of thing. I got everything. It was really quite confronting. But I also did get a lot. When I logged into EU, there was 99 plus friend requests and everything. So I accepted everyone and I knocked back a couple of clan invites. Sorry, point blank on Blitz and co. But thanks very much for the love. I will be coming to EU and we'll do some training rooms. Now that I've realised we can actually run this tank and we can do it in enough of a manner that I can actually play with you, we'll be coming to EU and doing some streams and training rooms. So we've had a pretty solid run with this tank so far in the games you've seen. Lots of bounces, I think, is the key. And that was not meant to fire. I don't know what's going on there. That was meant to fire quite some time before that, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, we've got two very low hit point, SU and ISU 152. And my worry is that the motor skills, when you're running at 300 plus, when you need to side scrape and those kind of things, are quite slim. So I'm looking for opportunities like this. I'm going to burn adrenaline quickly. I want to get a shot in before he gets his movement, and that's a good thing. 8.33 rounds per minute, hit your adrenaline, you can do a little bit of perma-tracking. Happy days, everyone's a winner. This STA1, really important. I get at least one shot in on him, and I do, just to lower down the chances of him rolling on up, because I obviously only have just over 500 hit points, whereas he's got quite a few more. That ISU 152 does the right thing though and gives me an opportunity to do some damage. However, the STA1 drives a pretty good tank there and knocks out both the Rusky TDs. And he's moving too quickly for me. Now, though this tank is mobile, it's not that mobile. I set up here to side scrape. It was quite interesting because of the ping. I actually played not too conservatively, but I love this tank and starts killing. I say, well, duh. Like, I'm not sure whether he's talking to me or to him. I think he may have actually been talking to me. His team was a bit filthy at him for playing in this manner. So I'm setting things up because it's really tough. The fine movement stuff that you can do with quick side scraping and snapshots just isn't really possible at 317. So I've got to try and make everything a laborious, safe process where I've got the upper hand. And I nearly blow this. I do, and you can see we get a lovely little bounce there, straight off the left-hand side of the turret. We set up for another one. I still can't shut up. I need to just shush, but there we go. And he gets one into me on the back left deck. So he's actually shot down onto the engine deck there. And he's going to get another one here when I over angle, trying to set up a side scrape. There, that's too much angle. Need to just be patient here. Only 40 odd seconds left. But she's a strong tank. For a medium, you just keep moving into heavy tank positions. And it does it really well. Really well. He hasn't got enough gun depression to do that. There we go. That upper glacis is just too tough for him to get through with the gun depression where it was. He needed to come up a little bit further and he got nailed for it. So that's a Super Pershing. It's now a pretty mobile Heavyum. It's like a little junior tier 8 M103, I think. It's quite a delightful drive, and I don't know if it's the best tank to buy at tier 8, but I own the IS6, I own the Jag Tiger 8.8, I own the T34, I own the IS3 Defender, I've got the Type 59. I mean, I go through the premiums, and this would be right up there on the list. If I had to, I mean, it's not as easy to drive as an IS6. An IS6 is pretty noob friendly. You just drive it forward and angle it, and it's got so many little bouncy bits that it'll do the world of good. But likewise, although it won't make you as much money if that's what you're after in a premium, because it has to fire a lot of promo, I think it was a joy. I really, really was happy that I went back and played it. And I think I'm looking forward now to playing it on EU just because it's a bit of a giggle. It's different. Its turret is legitimately a really strong contender. And with that mobility, you can actually, the improved mobility and the ground resistance stats, you can actually put it in positions to do damage. So there you go. The Super Pershing, a noob oasis for me in a desert of high ping. I mean, I've got the TOG on EU. So we're going to do a TOG review, can you believe? We're going to do a TOG review. Boom! I'm Bushka on Blitz. You are absolutely stunning human beings who deserve more love than I can possibly give you. But it's been fantastic to have you respond in such a positive manner to all the content that I'm pouring out in my attempts to make this a full-time job. Love you all and stay safe on the battlefield.